Guys, I'm going to remind you of some of the things that we talked about when we did reading and writing. So the good thing is that a lot of these can be done in the safety of your own home. So the first thing that I'm just going to look through the book and kind of remind you of is the environmental print. So that is any kind of like logo that your child can easily recognize and say, oh, that's McDonald's, oh, that's Sonic, whatever. So you can do this activity with these cards if you still know where they are. Or you can get in your car and drive around and, drive past McDonald's. Okay, what's the first sound in McDonald's? M, it makes mmm. See the arch of the M for McDonald's. Okay, let's head over, keep on driving down to Sonic. What do we hear in Sonic? The S sound. So that's something you can do from your car. Easy peasy. You can practice along with that, like reading signs and things, like road signs. And if you still have this book, then you've got the cards and you can form the sentences. I can read stop. I can read whatever the next one, or Sonic or McDonald's, or that's what all of these little cards can be used for, to practice reading that way. The next thing that I want to remind you of is book talks. So a book talk is when you read any book with your child, and just make sure you kind of go over the basic parts of it. So what's the front of the book? Where do we open it to start reading? Kind of like the really foundation beginning stuff. Okay, so the title of the book is usually the big letters, the big words on the page. So this book's title is Dragons Love Tacos. What do you think this book might be about? Maybe about dragons, maybe about tacos. Two really great things. Gotta love both of those. Talk about the back or the spine, the back of the book. The author for this one is Adam Rubin, so he wrote the words. The illustrator is Daniel Samiri. They drew the pictures and they worked together as a team to make this book come to life. And you can go through the book, and as you're reading with your child, get them to point to a word or a letter. Find the letter T. There's a bunch of T's on this one. It says, spicy salsa gives dragons the tummy troubles. Tummy troubles. They put toppings like tomatoes for tacos, all kinds of, and obviously you can do any letter, but that was just the first one that popped out to me. And talk about, okay, well, what happens in the beginning of this story? What happens in the middle? What happens in the end? And you can do that with any book. It can be a book that your child knows by heart, that they're super familiar with, or it can be a brand new book that you just got Amazon to deliver to you. It does it either way. Great. Works great. And talk about, okay, how should I hold the book? Do I hold it like this? Do I hold it like this? Do I use it to fan? No. Okay, when you're probably reading with your child, you've got it maybe snuggled up in between y'all, and you're kind of sharing and reading together. Turn the pages gently, make sure we're not ripping and going through super fast, so that y'all can just really enjoy that time together in the reading. Another thing, so going along with the parts of the story, like the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, the end of the story, there is a really cute YouTube video that we use in my classroom, and it is called Parts of the Story, and it's by Heidi Songs, and I've got it just kind of pulled up on my phone, and I'm just going to play the first 10 seconds for you so you can kind of get an idea. But it just goes through the people or the characters. The setting is where the story takes place. The beginning is what happens first. The middle is usually where the problem is, and then the end is how it all kind of closes out together. So here's just a quick sample of it. My kindergartners love it. They go through that all the time. It's like less than 2 minutes of a video, and it will be stuck in their head and in your head. So you're welcome for that. And it is just called. I wrote it out so y'all could see it. You just go to YouTube, and it's called Parts of a Story Song, and it is by Heidi Song's Resources. Okay, so another thing that you can do while we're at home is work on alphabet hide and seek. I don't know if y'all remember that activity, but my kids, especially at the beginning of the year coming into kindergarten, love this one. So you just hide or place the letters around your house, wherever, and say, okay, go find the B. And then they find the B and they can bring it back to you, or they can use the, there's a recording sheet somewhere where they can like color in the letters. They would color in the B once they find it. They don't have to do that. If you have used this paper or don't still have the paper, you can modify this in any way. I suggest only doing like a couple of letters at a time, so not all 26 uppercase letters or all 26 lowercase letters, but maybe 7 at a time, so you can kind of, they're not overwhelmed, and it's still kind of a fun game and not a hard activity. So we have those with the uppercase, and then the same thing with the lowercase. Now, if you don't still have this book, can't find it, honestly, you could make your own. Like, get a piece of paper and write an A on it and say, okay, go find the A. You can reverse it and let them go hide the cards, and they tell you a letter to go find, and you have to bring it back and let them check you. They'll love that, to get to kind of be the teacher. Another thing that y'all can be working on at home is practicing writing name. So this is one of my favorite activities, or my kids really love this at school, is making a name puzzle. So you would write their name on a whatever kind of piece of paper. This is just a plain piece of paper that I had, and so I wrote the name Molly, and I made sure to space out the letters in between Molly so that I had enough room to cut a design in between. So you can draw the lines and then cut if you want to. You can just go straight to the cutting part. I just kind of did that so I didn't have to cut on camera. So you want to make sure that this can be self-checking, and so that the designs are different. So you can do squiggles, you can do zigzags, you can slant this way, slant that way, get some little, like for the Y, I just kind of went around the Y. And if your child has a name like Molly where there are 2 of the same letters, you want to be sure that they can find the right spot for it to go to make the puzzle work. If your child has already mastered their first name, move on to the last name. If they've got first and last name down pat, start working on sight words. You can do this with any word that you want them to be able to read and notice and recognize. You can also, if you remember, do the rainbow tracing. So you would write their name first for them with whatever color. I suggest like yellow, because they can see it, but it's not going to block any of their other colors. And then they go back and trace it with blue or with yellow or with green or red or whatever color they want to use and to work on spelling their name. And last thing is just some ideas of things to kind of write about. So here is the big like poster of all different kinds of things that they can write about. They can write about their family, they can write about their favorite books, their friends, their pets, the weather, their grandparents, anything that sparks their interest and that they want to be able to express an idea about, go for it. And depending on your child's level of writing abilities right now, they can tell you what they want their story to say or what they want their writing to be about, and you can write it for them, doing like kind of a shared writing. You can get them to spell their sight words, I, can, see, and then you can write the next part. Or if they want to write about any of these things, or anything really, if they have the words on there already, so like if they want to write about their birthday, there's the word birthday right there. So my birthday is on August 15th, or whatever their birthday is, whatever they want to write about. And that kind of finishes it up for me. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you've been reminded of some activities and have some fresh ideas of some things that y'all can be working on while we're all at home. Good luck, guys.